working on presentation skills. And today the topic is going to be integrated video, YouTube views, and online material in the session. This session is in continuation to our last session that we had. How we can incorporate videos, how we can incorporate mobile devices and social media. We have already done six earlier sessions in which we have identified all the basic nuances that we utilize in presentation skills under this particular head. Now, these are the latest technology that are being incorporated into this, and we are trying to work out piece by piece on this particular activity. So today we will be working out on videos and YouTube, how we can integrate in the presentations and other online materials. Last time it was social group, and this time it is videos and YouTube. This YouTube is something very analogous to the younger generation, so you are all aware about it. It is just we are going to share certain thoughts on that. People who might not have attended last time, I thought okay, I'll just give a brief about the presentation, how the presentation is to be done, and what are the how to develop a presentation. This we covered earlier also, but I'll just review very fast so that we are on the same platform. And people who have not attended earlier, probably they will also be on the same platform, and it will become very easy for them to go ahead with it. Last time I had received some phone calls and people wanted, okay, sir, these are some new topics, so it should be more narrative and all. So I felt, okay, they wanted some examples also. So this time what I have done in different color, I've added a brief about this so that it becomes self-explanatory. Though I have identified the book from which I have consulted, but I have consulted at certain other places also. So this presentation should be really important to you. And I feel the information which is given over there would be something very exclusive. So make good use of this particular presentation. I've also gone through a couple of YouTube lectures and picked up certain threads from there, which I felt might be very helpful to you in your presentation skills. Oh, it is not moving. Sharon, it is not moving here. Okay. Friends, this time I'm going to cover these particular topics under these heads. There's a developed presentation. This is how we'll go in CRITA, integrating technology in presentations, videos, then how insertion of videos into a PowerPoint presentation. I'll just give you an idea how to go ahead because had it been the class, we could have demonstrated it practically. But in this, it will be very difficult to give a live example. So I have given certain points which you will be able to work out and it should be a success. Then we will cover YouTube. Again, insertion of YouTube into the Power Project Point. Zoom, I thought I'll just touch upon. Basically, this will be taking the next lecture and like to conclude on that. So developing presentations. See, first of all, every time I've been talking around, we should know the audience mindset. So some questions were there, so I thought I'll make a slide on this so that we are on the same platform on this. Whenever we make a presentation, we should know the audience in mind. What are the audience, and then accordingly we have to we can work out with them. We can work on that particular direction so that it becomes very fruitful to them, and they become an integral part of the you can say presentation or the conference to which to whom you are going representing. See, broadly categorized, I try to categorize this. One is the supporter type of people. When you are giving a presentation and you find they are very responsive, very supportive on this, so what you do is you reward their goodwill with presentation that is clear and concise and upbeat. So what they want, you just try to focus on this, speak in a very relaxed and confident manner because you understand they are on the same platform and what you are going to share, they are in a receptive mood. So that becomes very easy, and this is one of the best clients that you have. But audience is never the same time because Sometimes there are people who are interested, but they are neutral. So there, once they're neutral, then you have to bring your credibility, uh, so that you are able to convey your message. So it shows you should show confidence in your message. Whatsoever you are giving is authentic, so that if they want to cross-check, they should be able to get the right message. At times in the audience, you find there are uninterested type people who are not interested. They're just sitting over just for the heck of it, or basically they're just trying to while away time. So a presenter, it becomes very difficult, but important for the presenter to get their attention and really work hard so that they are able to bring on the even keel. So identify some topics so that it is of their interest, work on it, and gradually try to bring them back into the main channel, where and in the topic on which we are discussing. There are worried people are there. There's just they're worried around. They're not very attentive, and they have their own phobias. And so in that particular case, probably it can be due to the internal fears. So the best thing would be, first of all, interact with them, calm their fears, and in this it should be a very direct approach. When you start working out on them, you should know 1:1 also you can try to work out with them, and then try to, once they are able to receive you, bring them back on the main channel. At times they can be hostile type also. But the audience is really angry. But I'm telling you, whenever they're angry, it doesn't mean that they are really angry. It might be possible that they are not interested or open to listening to you. So in that, indirect approach has to be there. You have to find a ground, diffuse their anger, and then start sharing your message. Then they'll be receptive. So these are some of the audience mindset I thought I'll share with you. You must be coming across day in, day out such type of people. And these are some of the tips I'm giving around in case if you're able to identify that sort of audience is there, how to approach them so that they come into the mainstream, become receptive, and the very purpose for which you're making a presentation, the message should be conveyed to them. Okay. So when you're, these are some of the earlier studies that we have done and we have already shared with you. So I'll browse through it very fast. It is also for those people who have not attended earlier, and it is also for those people who have attended, and it will brush up because this is the crux of the any presentation skills. Whenever presentation skills have to be done, 5 points I had already identified, which comprises of sub points, and it will like a revision to you. So I'll just take a short course on this so that you are able to update yourself. One is when you have to plan your presentation. Any presentation which is there, you have to do some pre-planning on that particular thing. Like identify the audience I was talking about. So you have to plan. You have to analyze the situation and the purpose. What exactly is the purpose of that particular presentation? And then what is the medium through which you want to convey? So the medium has to be decided much in advance, what exactly is the medium you are going to adopt, and then you have to organize your presentation, defining the main idea, limiting the scope, and giving a broad outline under which framework you are going to work. So the presentation, it is like a holistic picture you have to give into your presentation from a macro analysis. Then subsequently, you have to work on a micro analysis. Say, once you plan, then how you develop your presentation. Once you plan, so I said plan, then developing on that. So first is you have to adapt to your audience by tailoring your style and language. You have to identify what sort of audience is there. Accordingly, what language and what style you have to adopt. It is, if it is for the class 4 employees, it is different. If your audience is middle management, it is different. When it is the top management, it is different. So it depends upon in what context and you are going to discuss and with whom you are going to make a presentation. Any presentation that you prepare, I had told you earlier that they should comprise of 3 things. One is the introduction. The introduction should be very brief so that the other person understands what you are going to talk about. Then the body, which comprises the nitty-gritties that you go through it. And then in the end, you want to conclude to whatsoever you have said in very brief so that the takeaways are registered in the mind of your audience. Then in the introduction you have to see it should be catchy. Catchy in the sense that it should arise audience interest and build your credibility. Once it is able to arise the interest in this thing in your audience, then you come on the same platform, and it becomes very easier for you to share your thoughts on that. Use the body to connect your ideas also, and so that you can keep your audience attention. I think you must have heard somewhere in your life the political speeches, how those people, the politicians speak and all, they generally keep their audience spellbound. So these are the traits, basically seeing the audience, how you are going to present, that is very important. If it is in the corporate world, it is a different world. It has to be supported with certain uh, actions and certain figurative, you can say, indices like histogram, pie charts and all, which the other person is looking forward to. Close with confidence and clarity, and restating your main point and describing the next steps. This I have said, when you are concluding, this is how you should be able to close up the, or you can assimilate all the points that you have discussed. Third is, once all these things are placed, your planning is there, presentation is there, then you have to deliver. Now, deliver is the presentation method that you want to adopt. What tools and tackles, or what is the audiovisual systems that you want to adopt for making a presentation. And the best part is, since the time is generally restricted, you should do some practice until you can deliver your material naturally without reading your slides. That is always better if you are able to dig deeply into it. Prepare to speak by verifying the operations of all the equipment that you will need to use. Mics are there, color mics are there, or the stage mics are there. Different you can say audiovisual systems that you intend to incorporate. You have to be certain that they are in working order. Determine whether you should use an interpreter in case the audience is multicultural or multilingual. Then it might be possible you need an interpreter. Say a Chinese delegation is there and you're making a presentation. So it is always better to have an interpreter. It can be in a physical form, or it can be in the form of a gadget, which has the auto system is there when it is like a 2-in-1 multilingual, by which you speak in your language and they understand in their language through some sort of a software. Then overcome anxiety by preparing thoroughly. This is with everybody. Even the moment you understand you have got an interview or you have to make a presentation, some sort of flush of blood is in your body, and basically that anxiety is always there. So you have to ensure that your anxiety, that you are able to overcome your anxiety. Have a glass of water, or somebody can do deep breathing, or somebody's whatever method you adopt. You should sound confident. You should look confident when you are making a presentation. And then the question answer session is there. If you've really done your homework very well, I think you should be able to handle the questions responsibly. Embracing the back channel. Now, what is the back channel? When you are talking, when you are hearing a particular presentation, at times what happens, certain audience people, they will be integrating literally also amongst each other through WhatsApp, or through, they might be using the Twitter or some other, this thing is there. So you have to be very, you understand that this is going to take place and how to work out on this. So you integrate social media into the presentation, into the process. Second is monitor and ask for feedback, so that at random, when you start getting some feedback, that will immediately put the audience or your you can say participants into attention. Review comments to improve your presentations. This is something like in between when you are having interaction, and you are able to comment on certain issues which are being raised at that time. That will help in bringing your audience to attention. Means they become more attentive and more responsive. Automatically tweak key points from your presentation while you speak. Then next is establish expectations with your audience. You should be very ready, since the audience comprises of a heterogeneous type of people are there, with different mindsets are there. Yes, you can expect, you can say, questions, answers, or some sort of, you can say, activity which probably you're not destined, you're not expecting. Then comes give presentations online. After this COVID which has taken place, already the technology was going in a fast pace, but with this COVID, it has further accelerated now, because the new normal is going to be very different, and much of the things are going to be under digital media. The digital media. So online, you can say studies, online presentations are going to be more, you can say, popular, and it will come into existence to a great extent. So certain things are there, how to make them more receptive. One of the thing is that you should send some preview, sending preview study material ahead of time. Once you send them ahead of time, the other person, when they're attending, obviously they'll be more attentive and they will understand what is going to be discussed, and they can apply their mind also to identify any questions or any clarifications that they will like to have, or they like to share also, because such type of, you can say, audience at times it is two-way process. You share certain thoughts, they also share certain thoughts, and you pick up the threads from those people also. Rehearse the system live if all possible. In order to keep times in overseas, basically in international seminars or international presentations, time is very restricted. It is of great essence. There you are giving a particular time, and you have to ensure that you are able to deliver within that particular time frame. So it is better to present, to rehearse prior in advance your presentation, and in case some addition or deletion has to be done, accordingly that snipping can be done. And one of the best part is if you have, you can say, mock trial, you have some, you can say, person of yours who can listen and who can also help you out in tweaking here and there, so that you are within the framework. Keep your presentation as simple as possible. This I told you as a thumb rule also. Anytime when the presentation comes, people talk about, it should be very simple, but as simple as possible, so that it gets through and through, and no ambiguities are, you can say, expected out of it. Ask for feedback frequently, so that you will understand what you are sharing, they are absorbing, and you are on the same mode. Consider the viewing experience from the audience member's point of view. That is very important. Always try to get the feel by stepping in their shoes, what they must be feeling, how they must be getting. That becomes your presentation very authentic at that time, because you can get a feel of it, what exactly you have to deliver and what they are getting. Allow plenty of time for everyone to get connected and familiar with the screen they are viewing. Yes, give them time so that you get full apt attention of your audience. So these are 5 points basically which I feel you should keep at the time of making a presentation. And once you take these cognizance of these particular points, success is assured, and it is really going to be very effective presentation. These are the, I think, people who are there, because I'm aware all senior people are there who have already been exposed to this, so they will be understanding the importance of these particular points. And people who have to work out fresh, obviously they will find if they adopt this particular methodology, it will become very comfortable for them to move on. Embracing the back channel. This I have already told you. Basically, at times what happens when the lecture is there, there's a parallel communication going on, and there's the texting, live blocking and all, using Twitter, digital media. So you have to take care of that also, because obviously it distracts the speaker's mind, the presentation's mind also. There are advantages and disadvantages of this. Advantages is if excited, it can spread the message to a larger audience in a matter of seconds. But immediately they tweet it out, what they've heard around, and obviously they like to share with their other friends, colleagues, brethren, and other places. But the disadvantage is also whatsoever claim or presentation that you make, they can come back with the claims and comment instantaneously whether the data that you have provided is the latest or is the correct, and you can say the authenticity of the data they can cross-verify. Also, one of the advantages, it gives them more leverage than that can spin presentation to go out of control. The basic thing is, yes, they are in the place and in the time, and not this thing they are deviating from the main activity. Okay, now we will start. Now we will be touching upon the area in which we are going to discuss today, and from here it starts around. See, you have to select the best combination of media and channel whenever a presentation is to be done through a media. You can use the help of some specific softwares also, or you might have to do a presentation on certain software which is online in the place where you are to present. So you have to take cognizance of these two your software presentation, or it is in tandem with the software you are going to use of the person of the place where you are there. So it says it be live. It means in-person presentation. It can be through webcast. It can be through screencast. It can be through webinars. When I say webcast is online presentations that people either view live or download later from the web. So any presentation that when I said in advance, you should share your presentations, a brief about your presentations, your preview of your presentations. Then what happens? It can be in the form of a web also. People they can in advance they can go through it, or after attending, if they want to really consider, say if they again want to refer, they can refer from that particular web. So these are array of choices which are there. The second is screencast. The difference is the recordings of the activity on computer display with audio voice over. So here audio is also included in this particular thing of your presentation. Then when we say T-webinars, use of Twitter as a back channel for real-time conversation during a web-based seminar. So the array of choices that you get are 3, and these 3 are listed here. It can be through webcast, it can be through screencast, or it can be through T-webinars. Now, whenever a presentation is there, in case somebody has any question, please raise your hand so that there and then we will try to clear it up so that they are on the main path and we go together throughout the presentation. Whenever a presentation has to be there, generally we categorize them into 2 categories. One is the linear, one is the non-linear. So what is the linear? Linear is something like a printed document. They are outlined like conventional messages and flow in a predefined flow. Like a book, you start from one page, your content, page 1, 2, 3, 4, and you go in seriatim to the finish, to the last chapter. So it goes in sequential way, which we call linear. But generally what happens, whenever a presentation is being done, what happens is you go non-linear also, because when you are discussing something or you are making some presentation or there's a prototype model you want to work out, you go ahead, then you want to revert back, so you can go back also. The flexibility of going ahead, the flexibility of reverting back to consider some particular, you can say, issue which you want to refer again while making a presentation, non-linear type is very important. It helps you go back and forth, and it has the flexibility also to move from one topic to another in any order. So these are the 2 types of general presentations are there. Linear generally is taken into consideration when conferences are there. You make a particular presentation, you are giving a time, you deliver your presentation with seriatim, and then you go through this thing. But non-linear, whenever you are making in various, you can say, demonstration about your products, and or you are making some long discussions, deliberations are there, then non-linear comes very handy. Okay. What is the difference? The difference in linear and non-linear categories? It is a type of software also we use. See, earlier we used to prepare certain presentations in slides. And when the slide presentations were there, it can be done time and again. But now what is happening is once we are digital, we are taking a help of certain softwares also, so that you don't have to repeat the same thing again and again, and it becomes very easy and simple for a presenter to make his presentation through those particular softwares. So some of the softwares which are very popular these days is Microsoft PowerPoint that can be used, or Apple Keynote is there, Google Slides is there, and other similar packages are there, like Slide Deck is there. So if you want to refer back, Slide Deck is there. It can just take you back to that particular presentation, and then you can refer that particular issue. Now, one is Prezi, which is one of the best known linear presentations, which is very much used now. That's why this particular software is being, you can say, identified. It does not use presentation of individual slides. It is sometimes used as a more dynamic and engaging way to present, and it certainly has its own potential. So Prezi is one which is being very much used. People who have used it, they must be knowing the advantage of this, and people who have not used it, I'll suggest just try to get more details on this particular Prezi. And when you talk to the suppliers, they'll be able to update you and train you on the nuances of that particular software. But one thing is there, that regardless of any approach that you take, you can say the successful presentation starts with a clear picture of the main idea, which I have said, yes, you should give a clear introduction, what exactly you want to talk about with your audience. Start by composing a one-sentence summary that links your subject and the purpose of your audience frame of reference. This is the same thing which I've given on a footnote, like a brief introduction about what exactly you are going to talk about, so that it becomes very clear to work out on it. Now, how we can incorporate technology in our presentations. Now the time is coming up here, how much technology we can adopt so that you become more advanced and your efficiency also increases and you are able to deliver, you can say, incognito, the issues that you want to do and the latest data that you want to share. Say a person is making a presentation about the consensus and some data he is giving. He might have taken the data a day earlier. That was the data, but it is on the real-time basis, the data changes. Say COVID, how many people are getting contaminated with the corona. So what happens is that there is a particular real-time bar is there. When you see yesterday it was different, and when you're making a presentation, you say, yeah, this is the latest. So you realize, no, latest is different. So once it is in the real, you have adopted the latest technology, you can immediately present that also, and you'll be able to see the system. You will hear the system in real-time basis how it is changing fast and which country stands or which state stands, and you can get a comparative data of that. Now, in this, when you are taking technology in your presentation, is a high-tech affair. And two major, you can say, encounters are there. One is embracing the back channel, like Twitter and all, which we have already talked about. What is back channel? Giving presentations online, so which I'm talking about, like what is the status on real-time basis. We will delve deeply into these two topics. When we are talking about embracing the back channel, it means parallel communication during a representative via the back channel. It's very important. A line of communication created by people is an audience to connect with others within and outside the room without the knowledge of the speaker. So this I'm talking about when they are interacting, it can be within or it can be outside and the speaker is not aware about it. So there are certain tips to make the back channel work for you as an advantage. Any technology which is there, you should always try to utilize it to your advantage, because every technology has its positives and negatives. But you have to ensure how you can use it to your advantage so that you drive the best benefit out of it. Like, okay, this I have given with the red also is something so to make you understand deeply, and subsequently you can refer it also. When I say integrate the social media into the presentation process. So what does it mean is you create a website so that the audience can refer it during the presentation or after the presentation. This I have marked in this so that in case you really want to catch up, this can really help you out in catching up. Further is monitor and ask for feedback. This is one of the titles. You monitor and ask for feedback, see how they are understanding. How you can do it. So in that, what you can do is you can take the help of TweetDeck to organize tweets by hashtags and other variables. These are some of the tools which can really help you in getting the details on time basis whenever you need or whenever you want to refer to them. Next is review comments to improve your presentation. Whatsoever the comments, you can really review upon it so that you can subsequently develop on it. So review comments after the presentation of the audience, Twitter accounts and blogs to see which part confide who send them, and which excited them and which part has little effect. So once you get the comments, it really helps you, and then accordingly you can tweak your presentation in a way so that in the area which requires more attention, you can delve upon it, and the area which is not having a little effect, how much input has to be given in that particular area. Automatically tweet key points from your presentation while you speak. Identifying those keywords basically, that is very important. Automatically it should be able to register. Whenever we talk about in exams also or anywhere we study, we try to highlight that particular thing through a highlighter, identifying these are the points where I have to focus on. So when you are a speaker, you are a presenter, in the presentation skills, it is very important to catch those catchword areas, because once the string is there and you try to forget that, these catchwords again bring you back to the same mainstream basically. So addition to presentation software can send you out pre-written tweets and you show specific slides during the presentations. Further is consider sending preview study material ahead of time. This I have already told you, we have covered earlier. We should be able to give certain, you can say, the material in advance so that people are on the same platform and they should be able to work out on it. Then rehearse the system live if at all possible. This I told you, this we have already covered. Since time is very restricted, so you have to please practice it with at least one test viewer. When I say test viewer is some of your friend is there or somebody colleague is there who can really identify, who can really critically analyze your presentations, and you can really work upon that further to improve upon it. Keep your presentation simple. Yes, I said simplicity is one of the best, you can say, thumb rule. Whenever you make a you create a presentation, ask for feedback frequently, because setting up a back channel via Twitter or as a part of your online meeting, it helps you in this particular regard. So these are tools which really helps you in getting these details. Consider the viewing experience from the audience point of view. So generally what happens is with the French benchers, they generally get a better view of the presentation than people who are sitting at the back. So it is always better to take frequent feedbacks so that you understand people who are at a far of distance and who are not, you can say, able to probably, you can say, see the presentation in full. So you will understand that they are also getting the message. Then allow plenty of time for everyone to get connected and familiar with the screen they are viewing. This is what earlier were there, they have been further expanded. Second is giving presentation online. Two ones we have said, one is the backend channel, how we can utilize that thing. Second is when you are giving presentations online. So here, going for forth and back becomes a bit dicey. So online presentations offer you many benefits, including it gives you an opportunity to communicate with a geographically dispersed audience at a fraction of a cost of travel, and the ability of the team or entire organization to meet at a moment's notice. The advantage is by making presentations online, you cover a wide spectrum of audience, and they can be at different places also within a short notice. It gives a way to reach more people in less time. This is the thumb. You can say the underline is you reach more people in less time. This is the plus point of presentation being made online. One of the main challenges is that like human movements, the challenges are at times what happens you don't see the human movements basically, which also inspires you to identify how your audience is reacting. This is one of the, you can say, shortcomings in this making online presentations. But obviously you have to live with it. You can only rely on non-verbal signals. That is the only way by which you can get a feel about the, you can say, representations, your presentations, how it is being absorbed by the your audience. Now, certain actions are being advised. To be successful, what happens is you have to do the search results. Feature snippets from the webs. This is one way. Or insert the online videos with the embedded code, or on YouTube or Vimeo. These are some of the tools. I think you just have to go through it so that you have just to understand that there are certain tools and all which can help you in getting it through. You don't have to cram the entire thing, because when you have to work out how you can do it, you find a video. Then below the video frame, there will be a particular you can say icon which is click and share, and then click embed. So when you right click the iframe embedded code and click copy, so that particular, you can say website, it gets immediately transferred over there. So these are hundreds of tricks which will be there. And once, unless until you really start working and sitting on this particular thing, it will be very difficult to work out. But yes, there are certain steps. If you follow, these steps will really help you in identifying your presentations or your webs or this thing into your main presentation. In PowerPoint, click the slide that you want to add a video to. Once you are able to identify a frame, then you can click on the PowerPoint, so automatically it gets you get attached to this. Otherwise, this activity requires a lot of time. You take it from the website. From the website, you take it to the Word. Word, when you take, you try to convert it into a Word format. Then you edit on this thing. Once the edit is there, then you copy and you place it on the slide. Then adjust it as per the framework of this thing. So many steps are taken if you really want to do it. But once you are utilizing these particular formats, so these softwares, this will really help you go stepwise, and automatically it gets transferred to your presentation slide. Okay. So now we come to our today's topic. We were on our today's topic, how to integrate the presentations. Now comes two terms we have used. One is video and one is YouTube. How we can work out on this. What is a video? Let us see. You all are quite conversant with video term. When you say video, so you understand that just videos is video recorders and other things also there. But video is a short snippets. What exactly in technical terms we define it as a electronic medium. It is an electronic medium for recording, copying, playback, broadcasting, and displaying of moving visual media. This is what exactly a video can be defined as. It is just a electronic medium which does all this particular work. It is recorded and saved digitally. That is the second thing. And how did it come? It is basically a Latin term. Video was first identified in Latin, and they say the Latin word videre. In Latin we call videre. Videre, that means to see, and it is from vices, which gives vid and vis. A combination of the two. So this, it's very interesting to note that this term of video has come from a Tamil word, which busy, which is called eye. So this is how people have grabbed on this thing, but primarily it is an Indian origin term. It was first developed for mechanical television systems, which was quickly replaced by a cathode ray tube. You must be knowing your old TVs and all, with CRTs were there, and which later replaced by flat panel displays of several types. So one is this basically flat TVs that you are having. It was first introduced commercially in 1986 with Sony D1 format and were wired for composite NTSC and POG. I understand the people who must be, say, I think two decades back, they must be using those video recorders and all, which was, you can say, PAL compatible, or it was NTSC compatible. This is the whole. So video, you just have to understand, is an electronic medium for recording, copying, playback, broadcasting, and display of a music, moving visual media. Now, first of all, can we have a video into a presentation? So how do I embed a video link into the PowerPoint that we are making? Again, certain steps are required. So you have to understand its steps. In PowerPoint, click the slide that you want to add to a video. Okay. On the Insert tab, click Video, Online Video in the form of a video. Now, embedded codecs box, paste the embedded code, and then click the arrow. Video will come. Actually, it should have been shown in a more, you can say, real-time basis. Then it would have been very clear. But yeah, there are certain steps. You just have to understand that there are certain steps by which you can embed a video link into a PowerPoint, and this you can get the feel once you do it practically yourself. Same thing. How do I play a video in a PowerPoint? You play a video automatically in a slideshow. It can be in a normal view. Click the video in your slide. Under the video, there's a tool. Next to start, click the down arrow and select automatically. Once you do this thing, then you will understand point-wise point what needs to be done, and then you'll be able to arrive at the, you can say, desired results what you want. So my contention is to show you that a video can also be transferred to a PowerPoint directly through certain sequential settings and steps. If you follow those steps, it can be done directly. So you don't, as a shortcut, you don't have to go take the long route of, you can say, clipping, identifying, then telling the software is there, and identifying various parameters, whether it will be absorbed by that software, or interaction of the two softwares are there or not. So this takes care of that particular activity. Again, what is the best format for a video in PowerPoint? So people who are in this area, they must be knowing the MPG4, MPG, AVI, MOQ, QT and all. These are some of the, you can say, formats on which it can work. This has been going on since long. And people who are in this line, they understand and it becomes easier for them. Okay, this was video. It means, in short, any video which is there, you have the provision of directly loading it in your presentation. So directly, this one thing is there. Second is YouTube. So YouTube is one of the topics basically which is very familiar with you, and you must be knowing much more than probably I can share with you. This also is one of the things. From YouTube you can directly transfer to you can say presentation. People who are using WhatsApp, they must be identifying a lot of YouTubes are being fed into the WhatsApp on any topic, on multifarious topics and all, which is also being shared amongst your friends, brethren, or your colleagues. So when we say YouTube, what is a YouTube? It is the simple American online video sharing platform. See, using a video and identifying, you know, the advantage, disadvantage, what exactly it is? It is just an American online video sharing platform. Anything can be shared on this, which is in the form of a YouTube. This was founded somewhere in 2005. It is quite old now. And the founders were Javed Karim, Steve, and Chad Hurley. And this was, this was subsequently taken over by Google. Now it is under the yoke of Google. And the present CEO is Mr. Sushan Wojcicki. And revenue is this, and it's doing very well. It is basically headquartered in States. The YouTube background. Now there are again a lot of questions which arise in YouTube. Well, the people, when they use YouTube, they like YouTube, but yet they have a lot of questions in their mind. What needs to be done? How it has to be done? What is what? What is what? Some of the questions I've tried to deliberate at this place, and some of the questions you might have to dig once you go through. You can go through the digital media. You are generally free to link or embed YouTube videos in web content, including your non-commercial online courses. Like this YouTube, it creates common license. Now, okay, whenever a particular system you're adopting, there are some advantages, there are some disadvantages, there are some challenges, and there are some, it can be some legal restrictions all there, which one has to understand before making use of it, so that knowingly, unknowingly, any unlawful activity doesn't take place, which can land you into trouble, and ignorance of law is a crime. You know very well. So whatsoever media you try to adopt, it is always better to understand the nuances, like under which datum bracket that you have to operate it. And it should not go out of it, basically. One question is, can I use YouTube videos for educational purposes? So what's your opinion? While teaching staff are able to show film clips and films in class of educational purposes, it is mostly in Western countries. This has been done in good schools. Here also, it has been adopted. The terms and conditions of use of YouTube website states that videos are not to be downloaded. It should not be copied. Very interesting thing is, it should not be copied, but people are really working out on this for use offline, not for any purpose other than personal use, which does not include educational use. You can download for your personal use, but not, it should not be copied, or it should be shared with others. But yes, we flaunt it like anything, like in WhatsApp, when YouTube is there and you start sharing with others also. So anyway, and the rules are different. What is in the fact and what exactly is happening, always there's a dichotomy. Everything doesn't go with the rules. But yes, one should stay in the rules if you want to operate it commercially because it has commercial implications. What is the best step for teaching online? There are a couple of these are there, like people who are doing it, they must be knowing wherever, whenever, or you can say Foxy or Audio. There are some free and there are some paid. This thing is there. Evernote is there free. Google Hangout is free. Whenever there is a free, there's always a rider with it. And the rider, you have to aware about it. It can be a short clip or it can go in between or it is something or whatsoever it is not a very on, you can't use it on a sustained manner. So these are some of the mobile apps. There can be more also. Some I was able to conjure up, which I am sharing with you as on date. How I can make my online classes more effective? Now with this corona, now study at home and other things are there. So teachers are making their study online. So if this comes up, you have to identify how you can make your online presentations more effective in what way. So there are some tips are there. Treat an online course like a real course. Then I think the seriousness will be there. Hold yourself accountable to what you're sharing. Practice time management so that within that time you should be able to finish a chapter. If it's school or it's a presentation, you can do within that particular time frame. You can take care of that. Create a regular study pace. Stay organized, eliminate distractions. This is one of the very good plus points of this digital media. Figure out how to learn the best, actively participate, and leverage your network. So these are some of the tips which you have to keep in mind if you really want to make your classes more effective. Do you need permission to use a YouTube video? Well, anybody would like to answer? Okay. Just like every other broadcast medium, like television or movie theater, videos are copyrighted by a creator. Whosoever creates, he has a copyright on it. And you need permission to use the video in your work if you want to use in a commercial way. They may include in terms of views for the videos in the profile, but not many people do this. This came into 2011, this particular, you can say, directive was introduced. So whenever a video has to be used, logically it is somebody's property and you have to take logical permission to use this thing in case in your commercial area or any other, you can say activity you want to. Do I need permission to embed YouTube videos? By uploading content to YouTube, you give YouTube a non-exclusive license to use your video content. In other words, as long as YouTube terms permits it, it can be embed your content without needing to ask your permission because you are already given them permission simply by uploading your content to the YouTube. Means it can be available to other people also. That license, when you say, have you read the terms? You say yes. It is written in a very small words, and I don't think 90% people study the entire terms also. So in terms, it is there. Once it becomes public, yes, it can be shared with others also. That permission the YouTube take in order to ensure it is not a copyright of yours and your permission is being given. So whenever such type of activity you try to enter in their terms and conditions, at least try to read it once so you will understand what is written in the finer print, which you generally tend to ignore. Which is a human tendency. 99% people tend to ignore yes, and they move further ahead and they do whatever they want to do, not realizing that they have unknowingly signed on a particular activity which can land them in trouble as and when the legalities arise. Otherwise, chalta hai, that attitude which is there, like it doesn't matter, it works. But when it really matters, then you understand what damage has been done. Okay. Yeah. Integrating YouTube videos into Power presentations, yes, like we have done for videos, YouTube's can also be integrated into PowerPoint. There's a particular system is there, like you go to the YouTube, find the desired video that you want to work out on this, click on share. On one side, you'll find it you want to share. You can share, embed underneath the video and copy the whole script. Open your presentation and select the slide, go to insert, click video, online video, it gets inserted. So insert the code into and from a video embedded code field, then click on insert and press enter. Automatically it gets worked out. So again, there's a particular step-by-step activity. If you follow that, and you'll be able to transfer a video into your presentation or wherever you want to place it.
Hello, is the class over? Somebody is there? Arun? Arun sir, are you available? Hello.
सर वेट फॉर अ व्हाइल प्लीज वेट प्लीज वेट।
अच्छा अच्छा, क्लास हो रहा है ना सर?
हाँ जी हाँ जी हाँ जी।
ठीक है सर।
Hello.
Hello sir, welcome back.
It's okay.
Yes sir.
Okay, ये स्क्रीन छोटा हो गया. Sorry, friends. I think we got disturbed in between due to some default in the computer. Certainly, it went conked out. Okay, we are very near to the end now, and then we can have some question answer session. See, I'd like to identify. We were on the YouTube, and I was just going to touch upon the advantages. See, YouTube can have different advantages in different areas of spectrum. It can be in marketing, on education, and different places. So the advantages of YouTube in the marketing we can take around as it is a free to use, is completely free. Free one thing is there. Second is it is a measurable analytics on a high level. Uh, the YouTube viewer can give you a good idea of the success of your video. Uh, and then if you use YouTube, you can have a huge audience, less competition, and millions of people can watch the YouTube each day if you use this medium for your marketing activity. Then there are 8 massive benefits for use if you use in your business. Because this can be used in business also. You can tap it into the horde of, you can say, YouTube traffic. So, and a lot of people will be able to identify your product. Marketing on YouTube will help you get, you can say, found on Google. The moment you work on Google, it will get connected you to this particular, your product also. Your content never dies. Once you feed in, rest assured till you die, and after you also, this content is not going to be deleted. So it will exist in the system. So one has to be very clear what you put it into your system. So it is very good for business. Grow your audience word-wise. It can easily, it is being, the advantage is that when say your YouTube is used, can be used for, you can have a worldwide audience. Building email list in your YouTube also, that also sustains. Your audience will promote you and buy from you, maybe. But yes, they'll promote you once they understand what the product is. Good product, yes, they'll immediately give their views on that. Target your audience with AdWords for videos. Make money with the AdSense for videos. These are other, you can say, softwares which can help you out in this. What is so great about YouTube? You know better. I can just say that YouTube is a great website because you can learn a lot from it. When you need, when you are in need of something, you get it done. Go to YouTube. This is what exactly is happening day in day out with the new generation and the old generation also, who are quite familiar with the YouTube. It also helps when you want to watch something funny. YouTube is, you can switch over to YouTube. What is the main purpose? YouTube is a free service and can be, you can say, found for great space for teens to discover things they like. Many young people, YouTube is also used to watch music, videos, comedy shows, how to guide, recipes, hacks, and more. So the advantage of YouTube is not hidden. You are aware, you know very well what are the advantages of YouTube, how to work out certain questions we have shared, and our contention is how we can integrate with our particular presentation. There are certain steps that needs to be followed. What are the other advantages are? It is an excellent platform for personal use, such as sharing videos with friends and families. It is also a popular video sharing website that opens to the public. It has given people around the globe a platform through which you can post videos to show the world firsthand what is going on in their country, to show the world the reality of situation, what exactly is there, or broadcast the news that may be hidden by the government. and let people know about the difference. Different views can be you shared on through this. YouTube videos will appear in both YouTube and Google search engines. That also is a plus point. You can get your brand that gets to connected with it. Further is online videos growing exponentially. About 4 billion videos are viewed daily. These are the statistics which people have, or some agencies have already circulated. It is on, you can say, public domain. If you use YouTube for your business, you can easily reach your audience, both by creating videos and advertising to other people's videos. YouTube is the second largest search engine. 1 billion people visit YouTube around. 100 hours of videos are uploaded every 60 seconds to the video. It has become so popular and one of the most important media or widespread media which is being used these days. According to Nielsen, YouTube reaches more US adults age 18 to 34 than any cable network. This is one of the agencies, and they've identified that there's exactly the most YouTube are being, you can say, so viewed between the bracket of 18 to 34 years of age. Everything has advantage, disadvantage. One of the only disadvantage, one of the major disadvantages, it is not intended to sell the product and the services. It doesn't sell your services basically. It's as simple as that. You make anything you want to get it done through YouTube, it's very difficult. YouTube only you can just upload what you intend to share with the people. If it is in the classroom, we have done marketing, we have done business. If it is in the classroom, yes, there are certain problems in the classroom also that is understood, like music videos, lyrics, or you can say instrumental track, rap bottles, embedded videos, comment sections, all in nothing filters. These things are understood basically, which happens in a amongst the teens in a classroom, they can work out. Advantages to encourage YouTube in your classroom. Some of the specific advantages to encourage is, it is YouTube in your classroom is a place for teachers to learn. Teachers also learn. Everybody learns through this thing because so much sharing of data is there through so many learned or maybe unlearned people also, as per their choices, they feed it around. But yes, it has authenticity at least, unlike WhatsApp we are getting at present. Videos are interesting. In case something is wrong, some data is given wrong, they also have a, you can say, vigilance cell which constantly monitors what is being fed on the video, and anything which is not in tandem or in likeness to the, you can say, rules of the particular of the country, or which is not ethical and all, they remove it immediately. So there's a constant watch on that particular on this YouTube also, what you feed and what has been taken up. It is a wealth of resources from experts also. So any problem these days, so any problem you have, immediately you go to the YouTube and identify what exactly is the problem you're having, and immediately you start getting various uploaded YouTubes of various experts who are giving their opinion to your problem, and 99% you get what you are searching for. It is a wealth of resources from experts, visual and audible means of learning, watchable anytime, any place. 24/7, yes, it is available, easily shared. If you want to do something, just download and you can share with a colleague of yours also. Students can contribute themselves also on YouTube. And what are the greatest challenges? Anything which is there are some challenges also. The challenges is basically, it depends upon, you can, based on the perspectives of many involved in the world of education today is, you can say, classroom size. That also is there is a big size, how to interact, how to attend to that, this activity. Poverty is there. There are people who don't have the source to approach this particular, you can say, purchase those latest smartphones, and they don't have the source to come up to this approach, you can say, reach out to YouTube. Family factors, family restrictions are there. Technology is not available at times. Bullying is there in schools. This thing goes on. Students' attitudes and behaviors also work out on this. These are some of the challenges that students are facing. No child is left behind, and parents' involvement is also at times is there. But they restrict from on certain YouTube not to be checked out. Why is YouTube good for learning? Is it allows learners to make their own YouTubes also. So you can make your own tubes, Finally, asking your learners to be involved in a video production as part of an online group assignment will help them not only ensure that they use the important information they've learned, but also develop and enhance their visual literacy and creativity. Because data is abundant. Earlier, data was restricted. They say who has data, he is intelligent. Now, data is in abundance. You have to filter out what data you require. Otherwise, you become loaded with data. Is YouTube an educational tool? Videos, different versions are there. Videos have become a very powerful tool for educators. More and more schools are integrating free video platforms into their classrooms to enhance students' learning. YouTube's educational channels are successful because the videos combine an element of entertainment that students may not receive in the classroom. Why you should not do on YouTube? Yes, there are restrictions which I was telling. There are some do's and don'ts. If you do don'ts and you try to do it, then obviously there's a particular there's a vigilance sitting over there who will try to really work out on this, and they will try to come up and they'll restrict it and they will delete your video. So like, do not let a dull video be viewed on YouTube. Make it more attractive to viewers. These are some of the things which is there. If anything has to be loaded on YouTube, yes, it should be properly tailored and properly, you could say, edited. Then only you will attract a lot of audience. Do not forget to put a thumbnail. It attracts viewers. Sometimes people understand it is something different. Basically, do not forget to give end screen. YouTube is a restrict against copyright violation. This I told you earlier. Do not upload any porn stuff, content to avoid using them in your video. This is a big no-no on this particular YouTube. Do not disable comments. If somebody has given a comment, please don't try to disable those comments. You can give your own views and own comments, but not you can tinker with somebody else's observations. Some important thing you should follow is do not neglect your audience. Once you upload a video, you will get to know what your viewers like and what type of people your audience are. Growing YouTube is a channel like growing a business. You should always hear your viewers. Remember, your viewers are everything for your channel. Based on the data, you should prepare your next video and keep on growing audience. Do not break your consistency. Be consistent and listen to subscribers. If possible, do not forget to fulfill subscribers' request. Some points about the video are: maintain the video quality. Don't let the audio be poor. Don't just record and upload a video. Do audit. Editing is important for YouTube. Do not let a dull video be viewed on YouTube. Yes, we have worked out. Do not forget to put thumbnail. Do not forget to give an end screen. You can redirect your viewers to go to another video when the current video gets end. Also, that connectivity is there. Do not forget to give cards. How do I embed a YouTube video in a PowerPoint? Same. Some process is there. You have to understand it. Go to YouTube, find a desired view, click to share, embed underneath the video. These all things are there. You have to go and set it up. So say similar is what we had in earlier we have done. Same thing is here. You have to follow a particular system. Again, a particular system. So gentlemen, with this week, we come to the end of this particular topic. And next one, I will suggest that you please try to attend, because that will be the last of the series. And in this last two ones that we have covered, is an integral part of that, which is going to be hybrid learning. Now, in the conclusion in this, I'd like to work out is embrace certain things which are very important. You have to understand is embrace technology. That is very important. Without this, you cannot sustain in the coming market now and in future. So technology should always be embraced to the extent possible to enhance your efficiency. There are certain restrictions, but to the extent that you can adopt the technology, please go in for it. Avoid colloquial figures of speech, more so. It should not be colloquial, it should be avoided. More so if the audience also comprises of other cultures. So you have to be very sensitive to the other culture, and you have to ensure whatsoever you talk, it should be very clear, simple, and presentable and audible. Simplicity is critical, which I have said. Any presentation has to be simple. Ensure to learn how to plan effective presentations. Overcome the anxieties that every speaker feels, responds to questions from the audience, and embrace the Twitter-enabled back channel. Further, complement your talk with compelling visual materials. This is very important, because I have always been stressing on this, that visual should be there, which really catches the eyes. Learn to create presentation slides that engage and excite your audience. I started with this. The first thing which I started out, what sort of audience you can have. I categorized into 5 basically. And if you are able to identify the type of audience, I am telling you, your battle is half won already. Because accordingly, you'll be able to analyze the situation, catalyze your presentation, and materialize in the form of a presentation, which will be well received. Ensure that you know your audience state of mind, and it shall help them to adjust both your messages and all. One thing we have done, we have shared so many thoughts, so many nuances, so many rules, so many pointers and all. But one thing I'm telling you, friends, nothing better here than your intellect. Your intellect is the main thing, how you can make the best of your presentations. There's no straight line method that works everywhere. But it is the intellect of the presentator that is used, if used very judiciously, keeping into account the audience. Your intellect and keeping into account the audience, which you are going to work in advance, present it accordingly, and I'm telling you, you will have a smooth sail. So friends, this is how I conclude. This book. You try to follow this book, Business Communications by Cortland L. Bowie, chapter 16-17. You'll find it very important, very interesting for you to read, and which will cover up all this particular last 2 topics about YouTube and about your integration, use of technology in your presentations. And YouTube also, yes, I told you I have heard couple, and then I was able to take up certain. Online Learning Consortium is there. It can also give you some inputs if you really want to dig deeply into it. Thank you for your time. In case any query is there, not now, afterwards also, feel free to contact me. My phone number is there, mail is there. I can try my very best to see that your query is satisfied. And in case any other thing is there, I'm open to all our you can say audience. Anything which is there anytime, if I'm able to share it out, because I'm not all wise that I can tell you I can share everything. In case certain thing which is beyond my realm, I'll surely look around and get you the right answer from my source. Thank you very much, friends, and stay tuned for the next session of present skills, which I'm telling is hybrid learning, which is going to be which is also the latest, which is in the market and gaining speed very fast. And obviously, you'll be utilizing it in your, you can say, future endeavors. Thank you very much. Thanks for your patient hearing.
Good evening, sir. Arpita here.
Hello, yes.
So you mentioned in contents about Zoom topics, something related to Zoom. Will we have that in the next class?
Sorry?
About Zoom, you had mentioned in the content about Zoom, one of the points to be touched. So will we discuss that in the next class?
The next class, Zoom, I was talking, the Zoom I will cover in the next class. What is Zoom? Because then we do hybrid learning. Then we'll tap it on Zoom. We are interacting on Zoom. What is Zoom? What exactly it is? How it can help around only. That's what I said. I'll be touching the next class. I thought I'll touch up now, but then probably next class is hybrid learning, which is going to again cover up many of the things that we have worked out. And a brief revision I'll try to do so that people, again, if you missed out on something, we can again discuss so that it refreshes your memory. Okay?
Okay. Right.
Sir, Ajay here, sir.
If anyone has any query, you're free to please.
Sir, Ajay here, Ajay.
Sorry?
Sir, my name is Ajay.
Okay, yes, Mr. Ajay.
Sir, it was a really interesting slide presentation, sir. Everything was put in point by point, but the difficulty that I found was to understand it because that it was not a practical demonstration. So is it possible that, sir, the things that you have presented in the sheet could be at least shown as a kind of a small demo in a 1 minute or 2 minute video kind of a thing, wherein how to copy paste the video content into the PPT, the different ways and styles that you have shown is made a little bit easier to understand for us.
Ajay, I'm in congress with your thoughts. That was in my mind. I was also thinking around. I tried also, but it couldn't work out. So because had it been in a class, then probably I would have taken the help of some IT fellow and he would have really worked out on this. But yes, I make a note of it and I'll see what best can be done in this. Okay, I understand, because these are certain set instructions. If you follow these instructions one by one, automatically you'll be able to do it yourself. See, my contention of giving this particular, preparing this particular material for this session was because it is not, you won't find it ready-made in any books. It is a collateral of many things. So that's
sir,
why
it is.
I've given you examples also, so that it could have been in bullet points also. But I have in different color, I have identified so that in case it becomes easier for you to understand. So
Yes, sir.
now,
Yes, sir.
as about these directives, it is a point very well made. Let me see what best can be done.
Sure, sir. Sure, sir. Bye.
Okay, thanks. Mr. Ajay Shukla, whenever you are Mr. Ajay Shukla, okay?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay, whenever you talk here, just give a brief introduction about yourself so that we can have a one-way introduction or two-way introduction.
Sure, sir. Ajay Kumar
Where do you
Shukla,
work?
sir. Sir, I am working in a medical organization which is taking care of the heart, cardiac disturbances of the people. Anybody is having any cardiac issues, we can diagnose it.
Okay. But like, is it on real-time basis you get diagnosed, or one has to come as a patient?
Real time remote monitoring at the.
Thanks, Arun. I think you can take over the charge, and then we can close the session for today. Thank you very much.